Desert Storm's commanding general visits the front line. Cheney and Powell head for Saudi Arabia to inspect readiness. And U.S. allies say the ground offensive is close. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting tonight with a special War Update edition. Good evening. For the first time in 4 days, air raid sirens sounded in Saudi Arabia tonight, and 2 U.S. Patriot missiles were seen being fired from the capital of Riyadh. Witnesses said they saw what appeared to be one interception of a Scud missile. No word yet on whether anything struck the ground. Defense Secretary Dick Cheney and General Colin Powell left Washington this evening for Saudi Arabia. Earlier today, top British and French officials said the last and toughest phase of the war, a ground offensive, may start before the end of the month. American jets shot down at least 2 and possibly 3 Iraqi planes today as they tried to escape to Iran. Others made it across the Iranian border, but Iranian television said that some went down in flames and 4 others crashed as they tried to land on roads in Iran. Eric Ingberg in Saudi Arabia has more on the war.
Okay. Allied Commander General Norman Schwarzkopf today visited frontline troops on the eve of a critical council of war here with the Defense Secretary and Joint Chiefs Chairman. With many big decisions in the offing, the U.S. brass was tight-lipped about what comes next. But their allies are openly advertising a coming ground offensive. French President Mitterrand said it will be sometime this month. The British were less specific but equally emphatic.
And I believe the land war is inevitable, yes.
De la Billiere, Britain's most decorated soldier who is close to Schwarzkopf, warned the Iraqis that the bombing they've suffered so far is nothing compared to what lies ahead.
They can move out now if they wish to, but if they don't, then let us be quite clear that there's going to be massive air attacks on them over the weeks ahead until the ground war goes in.
The general also seemed to be trying a little psychological warfare on any Iraqis who don't want to die for Saddam.
I believe we're dealing with a man who uses human life as a currency to buy what he wants to achieve in this world.
In Khafji, Saudi patrols urged their Arab brothers, Iraqi holdouts, to give up. But even as commanders showed off captured and destroyed weapons, the sound of gunfire from enemy snipers crackled. Again, there was little action on the ground. One U.S. pilot was glad to be back on the ground after his A-10 was shot up by Iraqis as he came back from a bombing mission. The Allies, responding to Iraqi charges that civilian areas have been bombed, asserted Iraq is now moving anti-aircraft batteries into residential zones. In the next phase of the war, B-52s, which fly so high they are rarely seen, will likely carry much of the bomb load. But the Navy has also used 2 different battleships now, including the legendary Big Mo, the Missouri, to fire at Iraqi artillery positions. Allied commanders said there will be more of the same by sea and air before the invasion is mounted. They'll get no complaints about more time for softening up from the infantry troops. One cavalryman said, "It's not going to be an easy ride for us. As far as we're concerned, the air war can go on for another 6 months." Eric Engberg, CBS News, Saudi Arabia.
How will President Bush and his top military aides decide whether and when to launch a ground offensive against Saddam Hussein? David Martin at the Pentagon has the latest on that. David?
Dan, if all had gone according to plan, the air war would now be in its final days and the effectiveness of the Iraqi military would have been reduced by half. That's what the Pentagon told President Bush it could do. The Pentagon officials say bad weather and the hunt for Scud missile launchers has caused about a 1-week delay in the original plan. Defense Secretary Cheney and Joint Chiefs Chairman Powell left for Saudi Arabia this evening for a first-hand assessment of the progress of the air war and the readiness for a ground offensive. Before they left, they heard eloquent pleas from both Republican and Democratic congressmen not to rush into a ground war.
Do not go forward with this escalation. Every